all black, being aggressive, hitting bombs. You got to hit bombs off the tee to be able to get to those small sections. That's what I'm going to do today. Hit bombs and attack the pin.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Aloha Press Podcast. My name is JC, joined today here with my co-host Jeff. Sometimes I have to remember that we're on video, but also the people that are downloading and listening on the actual podcast have no clue what we're doing actually on the video because it's not on video. So if you are listening to it and you're interested in what the porn couch looks like, jump on YouTube and just search the Aloha Press, and you're going to be able to see all our videos. Subscribe, hit the like button, all that crap. I mean, just subscribe so that you can get some updates and see our new podcast. But we're back in Ione after a 24-hour little golf trip, and where we recorded a podcast with a caddy, which you'll hear next week. Jeff, how we doing? What's going on? How's the golf game?
Well, the golf game was good in Monterey.
It was awesome for you.
Not so much yesterday. I struggled a little bit, but that trip took a lot out of me, and coming back and going to work took a lot out of me. So I got my coffee here and I'm ready to go.
So I was listening to some old school rap songs, and I think it was Mace and like Twista and like all these. You remember that song that's like, if you had 24 hours to live, what would you do? And they would just. Do you remember that song?
Yeah.
Are we dating ourselves?
That was us, though.
That was absolutely it. Like, we had 24 hours to live, and where are we going to play golf? What are we going to do? And we did it.
Well, so when I got back to work the other night, somebody asked me, they're like, yeah, you guys just must have all the time off, take all this vacation, all this bullshit. And I'm like, listen, you got no clue. Like, in 24 hours, I picked up JC who from Graveyard.
Yeah.
We drove straight to Monterey. We played around the golf. We met up with the undercover caddy, had a weird night, and then we woke up, played golf really early, drove home, and he went back to work. Like,
it was
whirlwind. Like, we just don't stop.
No, we don't. And like you said, everyone's like, "Oh, you guys are always gone. You guys are always gone." It's like, no, when we go for it, we go real hard in a very short amount of time.
It's probably why we feel like shit most of the time.
It's probably why I went to a doctor. Apparently, I have high cholesterol.
Well, you're Italian.
That's
right?
That's the way it goes.
We eat a lot of fucking salami and shit like that. It's not good for you.
No, not at all. So we just wanted to record a podcast back in our home studio, recapping the FedEx Cup, kind of wrapping up the PGA Tour, and kind of what we thought, and I don't know, kind of where we're going to go forward here. So, Jeff, you had a couple days off. Did you get a chance to watch the FedEx Cup at all?
I did actually. I watched more of the FedEx Cup than probably most of the majors this year.
Holy crap.
It just worked out perfect with working 12-hour graveyards.
Yeah.
So by the time I got up, it was on. And there's only 30 guys playing, but they only showed about 5 of them. And it was the big names at the top. So I got to watch most of it. I saw the weather delay when the lightning struck and hurt 6 people. Right? They tell everybody, get the fuck off the course.
Right.
Like lightning's coming. Standing around right by the water in the trees, and all of a sudden, crack.
And they're standing near objects that are like going to be struck by lightning. Like trees get hit by lightning. Yeah. Like tents, metal objects, golf clubs. These are all things to attract lightning.
Why are you staying on the course? Nobody's out there, right? There's nobody to watch, and that's a free chance to go sit in a bar, sit under the tent, have a few extra cocktails. And the people that came back after the first weather delay, not the one with the lightning, they were fucking lit. They were screaming and yelling. Even the commentators were like, they're a lubed up crowd now, right? Because they took advantage of it.
Absolutely, and you might as well. I mean, it's a weather delay. Shoot, go watch 2018's highlights of Tiger. So I woke up and I turned on, I'm like, Tiger's in the field again? Like, what happened? Like, he's walking out in 18, big old crowd. I'm like, I've seen this before. Like, this isn't it.
Yeah, they got you.
They're like, oh, a little weather delay, and I'm like, oh, what happened? So I checked. Yeah, sure enough, I checked. In one of those apps, and sure enough, yeah, like 6 people were taken off by freaking ambulance because they got struck by tree debris and lightning and all this crazy stuff. So that was kind of crazy, and
I don't know. I'm not a real like weather guy, but I like seeing lightning. I think it's kind of cool. You know, we live up here in the mountains and it cracks and the thunder stuff.
Absolutely.
But if it's around me, like I'm hiding. I'm not.
No.
I'm nowhere near outside. Like, this is fucking amazing. Can't wait to get hit by it.
No, I'm a long ways away. Like I'm either in my house hanging out with the dogs,
Right?
Nothing's getting smacked.
But
I'm not watching a golf. I'm not being on the golf course.
No. But I did watch a lot of it.
That's good. I'm glad we covered the weather. That was
Yeah.
that was important. It was an important turn in the golf tournament. What did you think about? Because we hear about the FedEx Cup from like absolutely the middle of fall to a year long, like all about these FedEx Cup points, and you hear about all these standings, like we're in the lead of the FedEx Cup, and you hear all these numbers and stuff, and then finally it comes down to the final event in the FedEx Cup playoffs, and they made it like this 3-tournament event where the leader of the FedEx Cup essentially had a handicap, had a 10-stroke lead over several guys, where they had a 2-stroke lead over second place, I think 1-stroke lead over, or 3-stroke lead over third place, or whatever it was. But Justin Thomas went into it with a 2-stroke lead, essentially a 2-stroke handicap. What did you think about that format?
So it was different. I didn't know if I would like it. The first day it was weird, sitting there seeing him on the third hole and he's 11 under.
It was weird.
But come day 2, like I forgot about it. I knew where everybody stood. But in the end, I still wanted to know, all right, who really won this tournament? Like, who shot the best score over the 4 days without that handicap? And Rory won it anyway.
Well, and he did, and I think it worked out in their favor. But, like, compared to last year, it was all these points, and they were constantly doing, like, math while you were watching the golf tournament. And Tiger's coming down the stretch, like, going to win this tournament. But then they're like, well, Justin Rose is,
That part I liked. I liked that there wasn't 2 winners.
Right, which is so dumb, which is so confusing.
Yes.
But this format, I thought, the only thing I didn't like about it was it was a regular tour event, so that the winner got the normal benefits of a tour win when they actually started 2 strokes ahead. It was handicap based. That was the only confusing part. But as like a general golf fan, like we're pretty diehard golf fans. For us, it made sense because we watched it all year. For the average golf fan, like when they tuned in Thursday afternoon or whenever they started watching it, like did they take a double take? Like what the hell is
this
going
course
on?
is really easy. These guys are killing it out there, right?
Justin Thomas is through 1 hole and he's 10 under. Like what the hell is going on?
Yeah.
So that was the only part I didn't like about it. Is there anything that you would change about the format of this one particular tournament?
I don't know. I don't know how they could change it. I don't like the thought of the handicap, though. I mean, like I said, day 2 it kind of went away. Like you're watching because you're getting into the competition. But like if I was Justin Thomas, I wouldn't like it. I'd feel like I'm cheating. Like you're giving me 2 strokes ahead of these guys. Like I don't know.
Well, and
I'd rather be playing from behind if that was the case.
Absolutely, because
instead of like giving you strokes. It's like when we play out on the golf course. There's handicaps, but sometimes you don't want it. You want to play straight up, or you want to,
And so, I don't know. I thought it was a good step for the PGA Tour to go in the right direction when it comes to figuring out who the hell the FedEx Cup winner is, and not based on all these weird points where the announcers are having to do these calculations and relay all that crap. I thought it was cool to see at the end of the year the winner of the tournament won the FedEx Cup. I thought that was cool. What did you think about the money? Because when you look at the purse, and it's like $60 million.
Well, yeah.
There's 30 guys playing for. One guy's playing for $15 million.
It was a shit ton of money, right? I mean, Rory made a shit ton of money. I think I saw something that this year alone he made over $24 million golfing, which that's crazy, right? NFL quarterbacks make that type of money,
right?
I don't think he cared too much about the money. He wanted to win. There were guys that you could tell cared because their putts meant like the difference between $500,000, $750,000 more. Like they cared. Rory wanted to win.
Absolutely, and I think he wanted to take down Brooks.
But that's just a shit ton of money.
Like they kept saying it, and they kept saying like this is for $15 million. And I'm just like thinking like, I have no idea what that looks like.
Right. We get nervous over putting a putt that might cost us an extra $5.
I get nervous over putts that like our partner in the game of Wolf is like relying on us like, hey, you get a pop here, like you better make a par, and you better make that 4 for 3, and that putt might be worth freaking $5. Like, yeah. I can't imagine $15 million.
I didn't see any of the like after round coverage. I don't know if they talked to Brooks or if he even talked, but I'd be interested to see if he probably won't admit that it weighed in on anything that he was doing on the golf course, but he made 3 fucking ugly bogeys in a row on the back 9, which he usually doesn't do.
No.
So maybe the pressure got to him.
I don't know. And it was funny, like watching the end stretch of it. Paul Casey was coming down and he had a putt to stay in like, I think 5th place or whatever it was. And he had probably, I don't know what the distance was, but it was probably 8 feet for birdie. Mm-hmm. And he lag putted it. Like,
oh yes, he did. It was horrible. I mean, I did see that
because it didn't matter. Like he had 2 shots to get in the hole where he would not lose $1 million.
Yeah. Oh.
And you could
they
tell.
Boo him? I thought maybe some people booed him for that.
I don't think anyone booed him, but I didn't boo him. I'm like,
he's smart, right?
I would nestle that thing up. So I would try and nestle. One, I would probably 3-putt. Because I would probably try and make it.
You'd be like, fuck it, and then you'd hit the lip and it'd go 5 feet left.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
You'd have a downhill slider for $1 million, but it was interesting to see how conservative, like, in the final hole people were. But then Brooks, like, he cost him $1 million. One of his putts was $1 million. So I thought it was weird to look at those guys and how much money. And I understand some of those players get paid a lot of money, more than others, but that's how much money is in golf.
Well, yeah, that's what it makes you think about. It's like, oh my God, like how can they just have a tournament where they're giving away this much money at the end of the year when they give away humongous purses throughout the year?
Right, like an average tour event's like $5 million.
Yeah, so I mean, I think the purse just for the golf tournament was $9 million. On top of the FedEx money.
Yep,
it's staggering, and if you're a parent, like you want your kid to be a golfer now.
Absolutely.
Sorry for that short delay.
So, all right, sorry guys. It's this production of the Aloha Press podcast, the live version can get a little hairy. Like there's a lot of buttons that we got to push, and when you're staring at things that aren't recording, it's kind of nerve-wracking. Like
especially when you're like 17 minutes in.
We're deep,
right?
And we've recorded these things
hot, sweaty. We got to start over.
Oh, it's not good. All right. So we're talking about the money, and you brought up while we had a little technical difficulty in our emission, like looking at the FedEx Cup and how much money is in golf, just in the professional setting, at the PGA Tour level. And then you look at like Andrew Luck, who retired at 29 years old, citing injury, and he's made a ton of money.
He has.
Playing the NFL, but the quality of life as a golfer compared to a football player, what does that compare to?
There's no comparison. And you think of the younger guys like Rory and Brooks and those guys now that are making this ungodly amounts of money. Now their career, they can pick and choose the rest of the way. They don't have to play full PGA Tour seasons. Like, anyways, they don't have to play these long careers in all these tournaments. They can get up for the majors, the players, FedEx Cup at the end, and call it good because money doesn't matter to them.
And the retirement's set.
Yeah,
you got to be financially smart enough to just like put it in somewhere.
Yeah, and the money they're making in endorsements and
it just like when they compare Brooks Koepka to like an NFL football player, and then I look at
is that Richter?
No, it's someone from Auburn,
Duck,
Washington. I know, right? Duck. But you look at someone that plays in the NFL and played their whole life in a very violent sport to someone swinging a golf club. And I understand you look at like Tiger Woods where he's having all his problems, but he was doing other things besides playing golf, training with Navy SEALs.
He was working harder off the golf course than he was on
Absolutely,
the golf course.
Like diving for I don't know, turtles or something. But
Turtles.
I don't know what he's doing. I don't know what they're diving for. I'm not a Navy SEAL.
Yeah.
But where was I going with it? Like, if you look at Brooks Koepka and they're like, oh, he's a middle linebacker. No, he's not. He's an absolute golfer.
Yeah.
And I understand why people like are going to play golf.
Yeah. If you're going to raise kids, raise them to be a golfer.
Like there's no, like, I guess there could be concussions and like there is a little risk of golf, but unless someone else hits you with a golf ball, I think you're pretty safe.
Yeah. Just pick your playing partners wisely, right?
Exactly. Like, don't get down the fairway too far.
Yeah.
If you're playing with, I don't know, who shanks it a lot? Ian Poulter? He occasionally shanks it.
Did you see that shank by Gary Woodland?
No, I didn't see the shank. What?
Laser beam. Right over the green, over some people, and then I think it ended up in a bush. He ended up making like a triple. But it was a legitimate like laser, like we would hit with a wedge.
It happens.
Yeah.
I mean,
Major champion.
hey, major champion, you sometimes, play for a lot of money.
But
It can get to you.
just one more thing on
Yeah.
the Tour Championship. Something that caught my eye is Rory looked like he put on a few pounds. He kind of had the love handles going again. The longer, shaggy hair reminded me of the old days, and he plays well. Like, we're all putting on a little weight in our older years here.
Yeah.
Like, that made me feel good. Like,
Well, I mean, he's married now. I mean, he's probably going to squeeze out some kids. I mean, I guess he's not squeezing them out, but...
well, I'm just saying, he went through that stage where he's like Mr. Fitness, and his game struggled a little bit.
yeah, I mean, he had so much speed and so much power, and he,
Yeah, now he's kind of got that little chubbiness going again. Looks like that Irishman with the curly hair, and he played fucking well.
I think it mattered. I mean, after my little cleanse, golf went downhill.
Look at
fast.
Phil. Phil's fucking posting like Instagram model pics of his fucking flat stomach and his calves, and he plays golf worse than us.
Exactly. And then, like, Brooks Koepka, he's getting ready for this body issue, loses 10 pounds, and he said he lost 10 pounds, and he lost 10 yards off the tee.
Yeah.
When he did the body issue. And I don't know if you've seen the body issue. I was not impressed.
I saw a couple of pictures of it, but I did really like how Dustin Johnson put the picture over his parking spot.
Oh, really? I didn't see that.
Yeah, at the Tour
awesome.
Championship, he had his body spread picture up over his parking thing and got him pretty good. So, but anyways, that's enough about the FedEx Cup. I'm over it.
I'm over it. Now the season's over.
What do
for
we got?
4 weeks.
And then the President's Cup. Is that
No, so we've got
what's coming up?
the next tournament is going to be out in Napa.
Oh,
at
Safeway
the
Open.
Safeway Open. Which I think I'm going to try and make it out to.
Dude, I'm gonna tell you right now, $35 for a ticket, and you get to watch the concerts after.
I think we might have to go.
Fuck.
I think I'm going to schedule some vacation. Maybe another 24 hours. Okay, a little.
It's about the same drive, isn't it? 2.5, 3 hours to
2
get
hours.
out there.
It's close. It's real close. to
Phil's
San
gonna
Rosa.
be there.
Phil's always there.
Isn't he like the headliner of that
Probably.
tournament?
Yeah, I think he usually is. But there's always some guys out there that you would be entertained to watch. Maybe some of the guys coming from the Corn Ferry Tour to come play in the Safeway Open.
Is Jake Owen singing one of the nights?
Probably.
I think he is. I think there's some good country acts out there.
Well, let's go. Let's schedule it.
When is it?
Beginning of October? I think we might have to make it work. I don't know. We'll see. But all right. FedEx Cup, wrapping that up. Okay. President's Cup's coming up in December. Okay.
Okay.
That's down in Australia. Which will be cool because it's time wise where it's gonna be, at least if you're working graveyard, you're gonna be able to watch it live.
Is Tiger just captaining or is he playing?
So
the
he
deal?
didn't make it on points for the team.
Okay.
But I'm assuming to draw, because it's PGA Tour is in charge of it. It's their one team event. They're not in charge of the Ryder Cup. They're in charge of the President's Cup. I'm assuming that they're going to talk him into being a playing captain because he'll be the first ever playing captain. And if you think about it, the year he had, yes, he didn't play a lot of tournaments. He took a lot of vacations, I've heard. But if you win the Masters, why not? I mean...
Well, and that was kind of the other thing about. Sorry to get back on the FedEx Cup, but you had a couple major winners that weren't there this year in the last tournament, and it's like,
which I think is a problem.
Yeah, they're like, we got to put a little bit more point emphasis on these majors. so that these guys are here at the end because people want to see Tiger Woods, right?
People want to see Shane Lowry.
Yeah, and they want to see these guys that won the big tournaments throughout the year. Nobody cares about Jordan Spieth. Like, I'm glad he wasn't there.
But we know about you.
You know,
you and your beef with Jordan Spieth.
It was still great, but
well, let's jump back on the FedEx Cup real quick. To get major winners there, yes, the point system has to be in favor of those major winners. But what do you think about the FedEx Cup? And this is a very high into the right take, but getting those players intrigued to play, creating a fifth major.
at the end of the year?
At the end of the year, and you do it where maybe the top 50 guys who played all year long, who won the majors, get into this tournament, and instead of having this weird format of this point system, or maybe the point system to get in the tournament, but then instead of doing the handicap based, having like a 5-day match play bracketed tournament.
I don't know. The only thing that bothers me, because I'm kind of like old school, is now you've got another major. Is Jack's record legit? You know, like whoever beats it because they had an extra chance. Like, I don't know. I'm so old school. Part,
but I mean, the U.S. Amateur used to be a major.
True. They got to do something instead of fucking handicapping.
The Masters used to not be a major.
I'm up for change. I'm up for evolving.
I don't know. We started an Aloha Press podcast for golf entertainment, and the first podcast we did was about a major championship. That we were like, we're not going to talk about the PGA Tour, and we end up talking about
someday we'll be big enough that maybe we'll sponsor it.
That we're going to be the
fucking
FedEx
fifth
Cup?
Major. Yes, it'll be the fucking
Aloha Press Cup.
Aloha Press Cup, and we'll do whatever we want.
I agree with you. So let's move on from the FedEx Cup. But where were we going before we went with that?
I don't know.
I have no clue. I have no idea sometimes. I kind of lose it. Like we go on these rants.
You have notes, don't you?
I do have notes. I always write notes. We sometimes don't actually pay attention to them. Well, let's get into our trip. So we went down to Pacific Grove, played some golf, went to Seaside, Monterey Peninsula, started with Bayonet, and the whole purpose was to go down and record this podcast with this undercover caddy. So we did that, and sure enough, me and Jeff are looking at each other like, if we're going to drive to Monterey, God's country, I've heard, and
Definitely.
Why aren't we playing golf? So we decided to take on a course that we don't have the best history at.
Yeah. Well, I thought the only reason I didn't think we were going to play golf is because you were going to come off no sleep, but obviously that didn't matter. And then in picking Bayonet, yeah, it's a course that kicks our ass routinely. Yet we want to keep going back. So,
I don't know why.
I don't know either, because the greens weren't in that great a shape this time, and it was frustrating.
It was
because we probably played better than we've played in the past from tee to green, but then it was tough on the greens. It was different. It was a different Bayonet than we were expecting.
Absolutely,
but I believe it when Richter says that the locals and the people that are in the know down there that is the toughest course.
I believe it because it's the more golf we play and some of the different places we've played, that is a pretty tight golf course.
Yeah, and you get to the back tees, it's long. You miss the fairway, you're not recovering. Like you're in trees and bark. And,
exactly.
And it's not like the other courses where you can take the 3-iron off the tee, because then you're going to be 240 yards out.
Exactly.
To an elevated green with bunkers everywhere and slopes everywhere. It's like, then it's a tough course.
Well, and that's what got me was if you can't get off the tee and you're hitting your driver 212 yards, which, by the way, if you're looking for a Cowboy driver, it's not for sale anymore. I don't know if you guys pay attention to our Instagram. I was not hitting it great.
Did you sell it?
I ended up contacting the company again, and they're shipping me out a new shaft.
The longer shaft.
The longer shaft, a little lighter flex, and hopefully I'll get back to my normal.
We can only hope,
because it's bad.
I'm telling you guys. We may have talked about it on some podcast, but we were sitting on a 600-yard par 5, number 8.
Yeah, number 8.
And JC steps up and just right down the middle, stripes it, right? But he knew something was wrong, so he pulls out his laser, and I think the only time his laser worked that day, and he hit the area where his ball landed, and it was 212 yards.
It was brutal.
He still had about 400 yards left on the hole, and we got these other two guys playing with us, and they're looking back like, what the fuck just happened?
Like, you just hit 2-iron, about 260, and now you're piping it with your driver 212 yards.
I'm pretty sure it went in the bag the rest of the round.
It never, for the rest of the golf trip.
Actually, it never came out the next day either.
It never came out. Even when we played, when I played on Saturday out at the course that shall not be named, it's not coming out until I get the new driver shaft. So
that's probably a good idea.
And you're playing at a course which is the most difficult course on the peninsula. Not having driver, created some problems.
Yeah, absolutely. It's especially the second day, because that short little course out at Monterey Peninsula, you could just eat it up with the driver.
Absolutely.
And you didn't have the opportunity to do that,
which was challenging.
Right?
So we finished up around there, met some cool people. Hopefully they're new listeners, subscribers to the podcast. So I'd like to say hi to them.
It's pretty rare that you get paired with two singles, and they're both pretty good dudes. And like you have a good round of golf. Usually you're like, fucking singles, they got no friends. That's why they're out here by themselves, and you don't want to be playing with them. But those guys were good to go, man. They were up for anything we did.
Absolutely. They even got on some videos, which is interesting.
True.
We got to view some of those, so we'll be coming out with a short little film of our trip down to Bayonet. But then we went back to the room, recorded a podcast, ate some dinner, went to bed pretty early. We did not stay out late at all.
We didn't even go out. I mean, we had a bar in our room, but
we did.
But
yeah, then we hunkered down, freaking woke up. And then walked down to Pacific Grove Golf Links, which you'd never played there before. I'd played there once before. And what do you think about the course? Because it's a course that everyone raves about, and it's like that hidden secret that no one wants to talk about because they don't want to raise the rates. What did you think about it as a Muni?
So first impression, you walk in. We had the first or 7 o'clock tee time. When they charged us $33, I was shocked. Because you can't find golf for $33 anywhere.
No, not at all.
So that shocked me. And, the front nine, it is what it is. It's kind of different. It's into the trees. Starting out with 2 par 3s is tough, especially when you haven't warmed up.
It's 7 o'clock in the morning.
And you're still burping up, vodka from the night before. But there were some fun holes. There were some different holes. But once we got to the back nine, had that breakfast burrito and some coffee. And the back nine's amazing.
And I'm a fan of the front nine because it's so different than anything else, and it's like it's a test. Like, and you've got to be a ball striker on that front nine because it is so tight, and the trees are so big, and the greens are so small, and you got to be playing good.
Well, that's what got me is you don't realize how small these greens were
compared to Bayonet. Oh my!
Yeah,
gosh.
they're tiny. Tiny little greens. It's not like you had a long ways in because the holes were pretty short, but you couldn't miss.
No.
So, but it was a fun course. It's if you're looking to have a fun round of golf and not be pissed off and grinding all day,
right?
That's the course to go play.
Well,
there's lots of birdies. It's not very long,
and it's fine. You could take 5-iron if you don't have a driver. You could take 5-iron, 7-iron off the tee and have wedge in on some of those holes.
Yeah.
And just be putting for birdie all day, which was fun. Which I don't think I had any birdies, but it was a fun for me. It was a front nine, and then you walk across the street, and things just change. The atmosphere changes, the wind changes. All of a sudden, those Monterey pines are no more, and you walk up and you're teeing off next to this freaking lighthouse on this short little par 3, which is like dang, like I thought I was getting some of the ocean, and then number 11 really opens up, and you're just staring out at the Pacific, and you paid $33.
Yeah, and it's a different, the back nine's a different challenge because you still got to hit the fairway. Because if you miss on the back nine, you might not be in the trees, but now you're in this rustic area, the sand dunes and brush, to where half the time it's considered out of bounds,
right?
Or you can't really hit out of it. So it's a totally different style. It's a complete flip of the front nine. And like you said, the wind is coming off the ocean now. We had a beautiful day. I mean, the wind wasn't too much for us.
No, the wind wasn't bad, and it was kind of misty, and it was links golf. I mean, it was overcast. I mean,
well, and there's a lot. The back nine, the depth perception on some of those approaches because the green's hidden, right? You might see the top of the flag stick, or you've got these dunes in front of it, so it makes it tough. You really got to trust the yardage, which when you don't play at sea level a lot with the wind, you don't know what it's going to be. You know,
True.
we play from the beach to the mountains. It's not good for your golf game.
No, not at
Right?
all.
Because you
Going
got
from Edgewood,
yeah, a club and a half
Grove.
more here to a club and a half less, and then throw playing in the valley back in there. You really have no clue how far you're hitting the ball.
Well, and we were playing. I mean, if you look at it, like in the last month, we've played some interesting golf. Like playing up at Edgewood is totally different. You're trying to hit the ball high. You're trying to carry everything. And then we go down to Monterey, and it's like hard and fast, and you're just trying to keep it low.
Just get it on the ground.
Yes.
Right? Get it on the ground, keep it in the short grass. Lasers, which I like to hit the little bullets.
So it was cool. I love Pacific Grove. It's just it's the reason why you play golf. It's cheap. You can walk. It's not a hard walk. It's not a difficult golf course. And it's fun.
And
I mean, it took, 2.5 hours, 3 hours to play?
Yeah, and that was with stopping to get breakfast at the turn. And it's right next to the lighthouse.
Absolutely.
I mean, you're solid.
So it was a fun trip. I really enjoyed it. Looking back, I would love to hold like a little tournament there. A couple day. I don't know. It's just a 1-day tournament. It would just be fun to see how low you could actually go when you're playing pretty good and you're pushing a little bit more. Because there's some reachable par fours, which was fun. And everyone can score out there. Which is cool.
I think a little 2-day tournament would be fun, and even though it's tight, you don't lose golf balls.
No, I didn't.
Pace of play is fast. I don't know. I think everybody would have fun, and for $33,
Can't beat it.
I mean, come on.
Absolutely can't beat it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's on the beginning of the 17-mile drive. Like 17-mile drive, you literally have to pay money to get on.
Yeah.
You could drive 17-mile drive for $10, but you could walk Pacific Grove golf links for $33 and play golf.
Yep. And it's an easy walk,
Which is cool.
Yeah.
Which is good.
I enjoyed it. I didn't like having to get in the car and drive home afterwards, but I enjoyed it.
That was horrible.
Yeah.
Oh, California roads. If you're governor whoever, let's
JC.
not get political, but I was trying to take a nap on the way home, and it is the roughest damn ride I've ever felt. Like are all the roads under construction?
I don't know, but I felt bad because you legitimately were getting whiplash.
It was horrible. Yeah. Like to a point where my neck for the last couple of days has not been great. But it is what it is. I mean, that's what happens when you have 24 hours and,
right.
you shove a 5-hour commute and 2 rounds of golf and recording a podcast at the good old Lighthouse Lodging Cottage. And but I had a good time. I'd do it again.
Absolutely. We made it happen.
Jeff, I've got a little. I got something to bring up, and I feel like this is the most appropriate setting. I'm going to rehab. Okay, so for all you listeners out there, subscribers, I'm going to golf rehab. Race to the bottle has not become a race to the bottle. It has become like a slow death of just horrible golf. I mean, I know I didn't play great, but
Yeah.
I got to go get a lesson. I mean, when I got to go.
I would encourage it.
It's like
I mean,
a couple weeks ago, I wasn't feeling great. Went and saw a doctor. My golf game is not feeling great. I need to go see someone. Like, I need help.
Yeah.
It's horrible.
Well, I feel bad for you.
Don't feel bad. Race to the bottle is real.
I want you to figure it out.
I don't think it's. I feel like I need to spend the money, buy you a $100 bottle, whatever you want, and just reset.
I'm good with that. It's getting tough. We're not mathematicians over here, but it's getting tough to keep the score.
Like I'm gonna need a week of vacation just to play you, just to try and get back, because it's
Well, I was doing the blog post the other day, and I was
Sure.
kind of looking at the old scorecards, from day one, and you won the first round.
I was up 4.
You were up, and then since then, it's been a steady decline.
Just bad golf after bad golf after bad golf. But in all fairness, you have played some remarkable golf.
I have, that's why I was so frustrated yesterday when I went out and played the Skins game.
Yeah.
The home course, right? It's easy. I should go out and make 9 birdies in my head. That's what I think, and because I'm coming off playing some difficult courses, and I was playing pretty well, and then. Fuck, I just played terrible. I don't know if I just don't concentrate enough. You're not out there. It's who I'm playing with. But I don't know. I was all excited before I got there and then kind of went downhill. But
kind of let down. But yeah. So I'm looking for some help. If you know anyone, let me know. Subscribers, listeners, patrons.
Well, what part of your game are you looking for help from? Is this like a total body rehab? Like, is this head to toe? We're doing chipping, short game, driver, iron. Like, or are we just concentrating on a certain thing?
A couple things. Okay. I took the chipping lesson several months ago from you. In my eyes, I don't know if it's because my iron play has been so horrible. I've had so many opportunities to try and get up and down for a par bogey. But my short game has really come around. My putting, anywhere from like 8 to 12 feet, feel really confident. Tee to green, horrible. And I've done some work. I've done some, I think it's going to be, I don't want to say it's a swing change, but I got to quit doing whatever I'm doing because I don't know which way the direction the ball is going. I don't know if it's hooking left, if I'm pushing it right. I have no clue. And I think I need to go back to the basics, shorten the swing, and maybe go back to the little punch draw. I don't know.
I told you, I think your draw with your irons was always your best go-to. And then I don't mind hitting a little cut with your driver.
Because you know where it's going to go.
Right? And if it goes straight, you aim where straight's okay.
Right.
Right's okay. And then obviously the double cross is going to be, you're fucked, but don't do it. Right? Block it right more than anything, but you'll still be okay. Right now, you're just aiming down the middle and swinging hard. And who knows where it's going. Good. Right?
Swinging hard. I've realized that swinging hard is not the answer.
We're all about hitting bombs, but occasionally you got to get it in play, right?
You got to get it in play. So hopefully the new driver, we'll see if that changes things.
Speaking of that, I had somebody at the golf course yesterday who follows the Aloha Press.
Yeah.
Drove by me out there and just screamed out, "You hitting bombs?" So I thought that was pretty cool.
I'm glad it's working.
People are following.
Good.
Right? And of course, I was swinging really hard and it was warm, so there were some bombs out there yesterday.
Ball was flying, which is cool. All right, Jeff. Well, let's wrap it at that. I want to thank our listeners, subscribers, to watching, downloading, listening to the podcast, telling your friends about it. We're slowly growing, which we really appreciate. I think we've got some special promotions coming up. We're excited about making people understand what the Aloha Press is, and it's not just a golf podcast. It's not just a podcast in general. I've realized that listening back to some of our podcasts, golf is the reason why we're here. That's not always what we talk about. And I think that's kind of refreshing. So if you're going to listen to the podcast, if someone's my grandma listens to this podcast and she's just like, I don't really know what you guys are talking about half the time, but it's just funny. It's just entertaining. And we really appreciate that. So I think we're more than a golf podcast. What do you think?
Yeah, I think golf is our platform, right? But very rarely do we stay on it.
Hardly.
Because we go off on, our little tangents and our rants and everything, and we talk about life, but we bring, golf into the mix. But we have so many other things going on. Like, people don't want to sit here and hear us break down the PGA Tour. And I don't want to do that.
No,
I like talking about our game and how shitty or how good we play and the stupid things that happen, and you break drivers like crazy, and you're not even mad. Like, most people probably think, oh, he's just a rager. Like, he's fucking snapping those things because he's angry. No, he's just snapping them because he's got a lot of muscle in his back. But, and we've got 2 or 3 more guests lined up that want to be on the podcast. We got one out at a winery here locally that wants us to come out. We've got another cart girl interview set up. We may do a poolside interview. Who knows? But we're not slowing down. That's for sure.
No. all we're gonna do is continue to hit bombs, continue to attack pins, but we're also getting into the subscription game. Yes. And I know in our pre-podcast discussion, if you guys don't know, like, we are not very formal about this podcast. I yes, take a few notes, and if you're listening to this, I'm holding up a giant flashcard that has like 8 notes on it. But we're gonna get into the subscription box game. Jeff and I really enjoy designing and creating apparel and things that we enjoy wearing. Jeff, let's talk about the subscription box real quick. We haven't really brought it up, and I think the listeners and people need to know about it as we approach kind of the holiday season. I know it's only August, but it's coming quick.
Yeah, I don't know. The subscription box, to me, like you said, it's something that we're fashion kind of guys. Like, we like to wear different things and kind of push the limits at times.
Sure.
But the main thing about this box, like I'm trying to tell these people when I talk about it out in public, is it's not a golf box, right? It's not just tailored to the golf course. Beach to the mountains, seasonal. This first one in December, you're looking at it thinking, oh, what am I going to get? A polo, a golf towel, and a glove? No, right? You're going to probably get some type of a long sleeve or a hoodie, a nice beanie, a tumbler, and you're like, oh, that's pretty sick. And for the people that don't go out and buy clothes very often and wear the same shirt, the same 3 times a year at the golf tournament, this is going to help those type of guys. Absolutely. Wives are going to love us, right? And then girls will have an opportunity to get stuff too.
And that's the cool part is we kind of, because we're such a small company, we've done some market research, and the more people we talk to about this, the one thing that I found is people, at least the people we've talked to, not a lot of people like to go shopping. Mm-hmm. And they're like, wait a minute, you know my sizes and you just send me stuff? And I'm like, yeah, duh. Like, that's the whole point. And you get to wear cool shit. So with the subscription box, we're going to include all those types of things. And I think it's more based on stuff that we enjoy wearing, not just on the course, but off the course. Like, we like having that relaxed fit and stuff that's comfy and that looks good. So, I don't know, Jeff and I are working on some ideas for the couple subscriptions, and we'll be promoting that more here in the coming months. So if you guys have some input, if you guys have some ideas that you might want to see in a subscription box or want to join the Aloha Press, like, what are we going to call it?
The press box.
Press box, right? I like
press
that.
Box. Well, think about it. You got subscription style things you pay for that you don't use or you don't need or you don't even remember.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Right? I got it. Gym memberships, wine club memberships. Like, it just comes out of my account. I don't really want it anymore, but I haven't canceled it.
Right.
Now's the time. Go cancel something you don't want and get this. Right?
Because it's going to be worth your while.
And we're not just giving you shit because it's stuff that we want to wear. It's stuff that we're creating for ourselves, so you know it's going to be good. So I'm excited. It's going to be a lot of work, but I'm excited.
It is going to be... It's going to be a task.
And you get those guys, we've got some people that follow the Aloha Press that are bigger guys, you know, muscular, just giant human beings. And now we've got sizes for them, right? Because when we buy in bulk, it's not like we go buy Dub X and Trip X all the time.
Right.
But now we can kind of cater to those guys. So you can give us your sizes. It's all confidential, right? But and we'll send you your box.
And what's better than showing up like after work, having a hard day? You're not always thought about, and when someone delivers an Aloha Press box to your doorstep, it's like someone else is thinking about you.
Well, it's Christmas or your birthday 4 extra times a year.
Exactly.
Right?
And you're getting cool shit. So
I'd get excited about it.
I'm excited about it, and I'm going to be the one delivering it. So
you're like Santa Claus.
Exactly. All right, guys. Well, let's wrap it at that. Appreciate the download. Share the podcast. Watch the YouTube channel. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook. And all that stuff. And Jeff, you got anything in closing?
Nope. I'm excited.
Let's just hit bombs.
All right. Fucking A.
Hit bombs. All right, guys. Cheers.
Wearing all black, being aggressive, hitting bombs. Got to hit bombs off the tee to be able to get to those small sections. And that's what I'm going to do today. Hit bombs and attack the pin.